Hello, it's Miriam here. Just wanted to get back in the habit of doing more than Organized Mondays. Little tips and tidbits that I'm going to go live every Monday about. I'm going to play around with the time a little bit, but hopefully you can start joining me every week. And again, I got a whole bunch of questions last week on the phone and on Facebook and email about paper piles. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about paper piles because it's one of those things that everybody struggles with. All of my clients have paper piles here, there, everywhere. And most of the time it's because we scoop things up after we've set them down for later over and over and over. And it just takes a little bit of practice to get out of the habit of doing that. Because what that habit represents is actually your uncertainty about what you can do with your papers, and it represents a bit of fear that you might do it wrong. And not knowing means you have to spend more time looking at it and discovering whether you need it or not, and so you get afraid and you set it down when you have more energy. But really, that time really never comes along, does it? That more energy day. And so what you want to do is start empowering yourself through learning discernment is one way of looking at it. And as you learn to discern, and by that I mean establishing a hierarchy of what papers are important for you to hang on to, and having that knowledge of what's necessary for you to hold on to, and just orient yourself about your own situation. I have a lot of clients that don't even know what accounts they get mail from and email from. So they have to open everything because they don't know what it is because they don't recognize the accounts they actually use. So having that knowledge pulled together in the first place allows you to really understand the importance of different kinds of paper that come into your life, different kinds of information. And that's where discernment comes in. Learning that allows you to take a look more quickly at the papers that do come in and give you a better understanding of what you need to keep in the first place. Kicking it down the road till later, it's just a way of taking even more of your power away from yourself. And I really want you to know what you need and when you need it and why you need it and what version is the best version for you to keep. Because just putting it down till later doesn't solve the problem at all. It just makes it later, and it increases your worry on a day-to-day basis that interferes with your focus and productivity in other areas. So we got to stop kicking it down the road, and we got to establish some actual criteria for making decisions about your paperwork, and then establishing some actual homes of where you're going to keep certain kinds of paperwork so you know where to find it when you do need it. Random piles on the dining room table, the counter, the entry hall table, in the brown paper bags in your coat closet, in the box under the bed. All those places are not great for retrieving information when you need it. So let's get a system set up so that you know where stuff is. This applies to business related papers and personal papers. Just empower yourself in your decision making. Is going to help so much. I've got a few different ways you can do that. There's a couple of free resources and blog posts on the website, morethanorganized.net, and I've got a couple workshops that deal with paperwork. One starts on May 20th, your complete paper solution. So you might want to check that out if paper is one of your struggles. Or you can work one-on-one with me. I work with a lot of people to set up this system to deal with their papers. And it's a lot quicker than you think. It's still kind of a slog, but there are ways that I can make it more fun and quicker for you to be able to get through it. So check it out, morethanorganized.net. The workshops can be found at morethanorganized.net/workshops. And hopefully I will see you in the funny papers. But tell me, I'd love to hear from you too about what the most surprising paper you find in a pile, or the number of piles you find. Give me some insight into your paper piles. What's going on for you? I tend to have a few projects that are one step from being finished, and then I spend a whole day kind of going through and finishing up those projects. But that's kind of my work process. But that's what piles up, is the stuff that I have one more step on to get them out of the way. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and it gives you some insight into what it does to you in terms of taking away your power when you don't have the knowledge about what papers are important for you. And we want to empower you again. So let's talk about that. All right, take care.